Office of Student Affairs, the Center for Global Initiatives, the UVA Global Affairs Office, the UVA Department of Middle Eastern and South Asian Languages and Cultures, the Darden India Alumni Chapter, and the Darden Admissions Team. Wow, that's a lot of people to coordinate for their support of today's conference. Well done getting all those people together. And now let me tell you a little bit about our global community at the Darden School of Business. Students, faculty, and staff come to Darden from all across the world to experience the world's best business education. That's certainly why I'm here. In fact, the full-time MBA class of 2023, 40% of our students from that class are international citizens coming from 40 different countries. And that global diversity really makes for a uniquely rich culture right here in Charlottesville, Virginia, with incredible experiences and conversations that come out during our lively case method discussions. So we hear the voice from everybody. Nobody can be silent in our classroom. And after graduation, Darden alumni go on to lead top companies around the world or to start new companies. We were just talking about an entrepreneur from Darden in India that Mr. Murthy was telling me about. And many of those alumni will join you on panels today or tomorrow. And our 17,000 plus graduates at Darden live and work in more than 90 countries. And of course, the University of Virginia has 240,000 alumni living all over the world. So as I like to say, Darden can take you from anywhere to anywhere. That's the magic of education. And I hope this conference with sessions on topics like the technological revolution in education and the impact of COVID-19, for example, on the entrepreneurship startup ecosystem will help you to think really critically and broadly about various facets of emerging economies in the South Asian regions, as well as give those of you who may not be familiar with Darden a better sense of our special community. From my experience, a lot of leading applications come out of South Asia. There's a lot of interesting business models and technologies from there, and we can learn a lot from that. Now, with no further ado, it's my honor to welcome Infosys founder Narayana Murthy, who the Darden community had the privilege of spending time with in 2017 when he was awarded UVA's highest award, the Thomas Jefferson Foundation Medal in Global Innovation. The medals are really the highest honor that UVA can give an external person, because we do not grant honorific degrees. So it's kind of our equivalent of that. Mr. Murthy's accolades are too many to mention, but for his pioneering role in designing and implementing a global delivery model that became the backbone of global IT services, Mr. Murthy's been called the father of the Indian IT sector, maybe the father of the global IT sector, and has frequently been named one of the preeminent business leaders of his entire generation. In Fortune magazine in 2012 named him one of the 12 greatest entrepreneurs of all time. In 2014, he was among CNBC's 25 global business leaders who have made the maximum impact on society in the last 25 years. Those are quite some accolades. He's also been an incredible proponent for social responsibility of business, which is something we care a lot about. Darden as the founder of stakeholder capitalism in academic theory and the role of business in society. And he's been an absolute practitioner of that in every way. And his leadership has truly created great value for humanity. And on a personal note, I would just like to say that beyond all the amazing business accolades, the one thing that stands out the most to me is just the humility of Mr. Murthy and just what an amazing person he is. Whether or not he founded Infosys is one thing, but if I would just meet you in a social setting, there's no one I'd rather have dinner with. So Please join me in welcoming Mr. Narayana Murthy back to Darden.
Thank you.
Over to you.
Thank you. Well, I am very grateful to Dean Scott Beardsley and the organizers for this opportunity to spend time with the young creators of a grand future for the US and the world. I am fortunate to deliver this talk in the city of Thomas Jefferson. His words that one man with courage forms a majority has been a rock to me. Today, I would like to speak on being a global manager because all of you will become global managers and then go on to become global leaders. Please allow me to use the term she to denote both male and female managers. A global manager is a management professional whose arena encompasses the business world across the entire globe, who raises the aspiration of her multicultural team spread across the globe, who exhorts her team to benchmark its performance on a global scale, whose mind is unconstrained by national boundaries, and who excels in dealing with many cultures. Friends, we live in exhilarating times. The global competition had never been so intense, opportunities so huge, and challenges so daunting. It is because of a significant phenomenon called globalization. What is globalization? I define globalization as sourcing capital from where it is cheapest, sourcing talent from where it is best available, producing where it is most cost effective, and selling where it is most profitable without being constrained by national boundaries. Some academicians feel that globalization is weakening these days due to the strong current of nationalism. However, international trade statistics show otherwise. In this flat world, every nation that has something to contribute to the global betterment can improve the lives of not just her own people, but that of people throughout the globe, the rich and the poor, the urban and the rural, the powerful and the weak, and of course, the educated and not so well educated. What are the implications of globalization? First, corporations worldwide have faced extreme competition as new products and services have come from both the developed and the developing nations. Second, lifestyles of people across nations have undergone transformation. In the case of the developed nations, consumers have found the imported products cheaper and better. In the case of the developing nations, millions have been pulled out of poverty as their disposable incomes have increased. Third, the consumer base in the developing economies have been increasing, and they have become important markets for international companies. This has happened due to their fast-growing economies, higher disposable incomes, and demographic advantages. Fourth, innovation has become the key to success because there are so many competitors who will commoditize your innovation quickly. The speed of innovation has become very critical. Six, the quality of talent in a company has become the key differentiator. How is being a good manager different from being a great leader? Leadership, as you people know better than me, is about articulating a laudable, exciting, and aspirational objective and embracing high quality governance. On the other hand, management is about accomplishing that objective with quality, on time, and within the budgeted cost. Friends, we live in a complex world that requires multiple competencies and much hard work to succeed. No individual possesses either the competencies or the stamina to handle every aspect of a task. Hence, teamwork is crucial. Managers play an important role in the success of teamwork. A global manager enhances the confidence, enthusiasm, energy, and hopes of her team members spread across the globe. She uses data in every transaction to arrive at decisions. She starts every transaction on a zero base. That is why at Infosys, the most popular adage was, "In God we trust, everybody else brings data to the table." Confident and courteous managers attract competent and productive talent. Generosity is a sign of confidence in managers. A successful manager shares the credit for her achievements with her team members. She praises her colleagues in public and criticizes them in private when absolutely necessary. Sanjay manager makes her people feel an inch taller in her presence. People with quick and confident decision-making capabilities rarely fail. Vacillation from a manager creates confusion in the minds of her team members and most often derails progress. When Alexander the Great was asked how he conquered the world, he replied that he did it by not wavering. It pays to take calculated risks. Remember that ships are safest in the harbor, but they are not meant to be there. They must go into the high seas and navigate stormy waters to reach a desirable destination. No matter how good your idea is, it has no value unless other people understand it, embrace it as their own, and help you implement it. Hence, communication is crucial for the success of a manager. Given that you work in multicultural teams, it is desirable to use universally understood and accepted simple but powerful words and metaphors to communicate with people across the globe. Good managers, as you know, embrace universal values. English will continue to play a major role as a common business language globally. However, it is essential to understand and appreciate the local languages and cultures to succeed globally. My friends, technology is a universal language. No manager can succeed unless she has mastered the use of technology for basic management, productivity, finance, simulation, communication, and workflow. Unless we are happy people at home, it is unlikely we will be happy people in the office. Productivity in the office requires a happy mind. A supporting family is an essential ingredient of corporate success. Therefore, enjoy life, be happy and smile a lot. Share jokes with your colleagues. Operate as a trustworthy person with your family and your colleagues. Do take your work seriously, but not yourself. Ancient wisdom says that you achieve success in life if the eyes of other people light up when you walk into your room. Their eyes light up because they know you care for them. Sustainability is very, very important. This is the only planet we have. Therefore, your foremost duty is to preserve this planet very well. When one day you have made your mark on this world, remember that in the ultimate analysis, you are a mere custodian of the wealth you generate, whether it is financial, intellectual, or emotional. The best use of your wealth is to share it with those less fortunate than you are. I believe that we have all at some time in our lives eaten the fruits from the trees that we did not plant. In the fullness of time, when it is our turn to give, it behooves us in turn to plant trees that we may never eat the fruit of, but which will largely benefit generations to come. I believe that it is our sacred responsibility, one that I hope you will shoulder in time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Murthy. It was an honor to hear to you today. Now we can move to the Q&A questions. Scott, would you like to add a few words before we start asking questions to Mr. Murthy?
Well, I think you can all see why I said he's an amazing person. Just the philosophy of life and thinking about the integrated whole of the human, I think is so important. I would just echo that. There's so many words of wisdom. I want to get a transcript of what he's just said. He made many important things that he said are lessons for life. And you can see also why he's a servant leader in serving others to do a greater cause. You can't do it by yourself. Great things don't come all by yourself. And I think you see why he was able to align so many other people behind his vision. It's so important that some of your messages also, they transcend boundaries. That's the thing. There are differences that are local, but there's also so many things that unite our humanity across the world. And sustainability is definitely one of them. We do share the world. That's for sure. But I'd like to hear from the students. I'd like to hear what some of the questions are for Mr. Murthy. Great opportunity to learn from a world leader. So what questions do you have for him?
Absolutely. We have also received a lot of questions in the chat. Let me begin with the first one. So a lot of students want to hear, how did your earlier career choices lead you to where you are today? And how has your experience been throughout that journey? Any specific message you would like to share with the students?
First of all, it is very important for me to accept that chance favored a very important role in whatever little I could do, whatever little Infosys could do. Having said that, as Louis Pasteur once said, chance favors the prepared mind. Therefore, we started Infosys at a time when there was a technological change in the US, in computer technology in the US, which led to the availability of inexpensive super mini computers, which could run commercial applications. And we knew that computers will become ubiquitous in the corporate world, particularly in small and medium corporations, as well as in departmental computing of large corporations. That was in some sense thanks to our strategic mindset that God was very kind to bestow on us, number one. The second thing we realized at that time was India had a large number of reasonably good engineers, but most of them were unemployed. So we said our job is to connect this demand with this supply. And God has been kind to us. And then we realized when we sat down amongst ourselves to write out a vision statement, we emphasized the importance of respect from the society as the most important attribute that we should all focus on. Why respect from the society? Because society contributes customers, society contributes employees, society contributes investors, society contributes bureaucracy, and society contributes politicians. Particularly in developing nations of those days, the role of bureaucracy and politicians was very critical to the success of the corporate world. So therefore, earning respect from the society meant that we would be enhancing the trust of our customers, the trust of our employees, the trust of our investors, the trust of the government. And the journey of Infosys has been one of seeking respect from the most important stakeholder of a corporation, and that is the society. Let me stop here. Yeah.
Thank you. That was indeed a very detailed response to our question. We appreciate that. Another question that we had was, you mentioned that the world is becoming increasingly flat and due to globalization. And as the world is coming together, it is also becoming more integrated. We would like to know about some challenges that you might have faced while taking your business global. And in addition to that, students would also like to know, in today's world where we are working in a virtual environment, where in-person meetings are very rare, how would you sort of how would you guide the students to sort of take this challenge into making it work for them and also create an impact in their organization?
Well, those days, the world had a rather very low opinion of India. India was seen as a filthy, poor, and undesirable country, thanks to its policies and philosophies. But we realized that our market was primarily in the developer, and that too in the US. We had very little money. We did not even have current account convertibility for the first 10 years. We had to go to Reserve Bank of India, the central bank, to get approval to travel abroad. We did not have telephones. I mean, I don't want to waste my time on these things because they won't make sense to you youngsters. But we realized one thing. We said, the only way we can grow is if we worked hard, worked in a disciplined manner, and delivered what we promised with quality, within budgeted cost, and ahead of time. And we said the only marketing channel we have is the willingness of our one customer that we started out with to say good things about us. I think that is extremely important. So, as I told you right from the beginning, the good thing about Infosys was that the 7 of us who founded were very strategic in mindset. So we said, in this environment where we have nothing, the only thing is somehow get an opportunity and demonstrate that you will perform better than anybody else that that customer has worked with, and that customer is willing to stand up for you, and your reputation should spread by the word of mouth. That's what I would say.
Thank you so much. We can just have one more question. We have received so many questions in the chat. Thank you everyone for that. People are really appreciating you using the word she to mention a leader, and they want to know, how your wife has supported you throughout the journey, and what would you say to people out there about, sort of bringing equality to work, thinking about diversity and inclusion in their respective organizations.
Interestingly, my wife is much more qualified than I am. She had a scholarship to do her PhD in computer science at MIT. But in her youngish exuberance, when there was an advertisement at the Indian Institute of Science saying that we are looking for engineers, women need not apply, she wrote to J.R.D. Tata and she blasted him. And that man was great. He took immediate action. He made sure she was interviewed and he offered the job. Then she got this scholarship from MIT. And she went and told her parents, no, I'm going out. Her father was very upset. He said, this is not the way to behave. You have wasted the time of India's finest business leader. Now you better give up your PhD at MIT, go back to telco job. So even though she was much more qualified than I was, she did not become part of Infosys because I wanted to send a certain message to all my colleagues. But however, she always stood by me. She supported me. Whenever I was down, she would encourage me. She's very positive minded, extremely positive minded. She would encourage me. She would give me confidence. she would say, don't worry, when God closes a door, he opens a window, etc., etc. So I think there was a time when we didn't have money to pay salaries for my colleagues. She took me to a pawn shop in Pune, and she pawned her jewelry, which was given in her marriage by her parents, and we paid the salary. But she did it all smiling. I think spouses, it's not wife alone, spouses are extremely important. For example, you must have listened to Indra Nooyi, right? Unless Indra Nooyi's husband fully helped her, I don't think she could have been the successful CEO of Pepsi. So I would say that spouses are very important. And as I said in my talk, unless you are happy at home, you cannot be happy in the office. You cannot be productive. And therefore, your spouse plays a very important role. So she has done that, and I remain grateful.
Thank you. That was really wonderful to hear. I think we are at time. On behalf of all the students at Darden and UVA, I want to thank you for joining us today. We really appreciated the messages that
I have only one small request for you people. I want every one of you assembled here to remember that this institution, Darden Business School, has given a great opportunity to become a global player. It has opened enormous doors. So please don't forget it. In your own way, please contribute in whatever way you can, so that this school can serve even larger number of students, can grow, can do all that wonderful research they do, etc. And that's going to happen only, I'd say majorly, because of the alumni who have benefited immensely from this institution. Please don't forget it. It is like you cannot forget your parents, you cannot forget your mother. And this institution is like your mother, second mother. So please, that's the only request I have for every one of you assembled here. Please don't forget it.
Indeed, a great message. Thank you. We will ensure that we will keep that message in our mind as we move forward into the world.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot.
Scott, would you like to give some closing remarks before we move on to the next session?
First, just thank you so much, Narayana. Amazing words of wisdom for us all. I look forward to seeing you in person, hopefully here in the US, but also in India. I think there's a lot that we should reflect upon. Great words of wisdom. The stories you told are very powerful. There's so much to think about. It makes me realize also, just how important other people are along the journey to helping each of us be successful, and your gratitude and your humility to sharing the success that you've had is a tribute to you as a leader and as a person. A lot of people make it all about themselves, but we can see from your journey that you're grateful to so many others, and that's your ability to harness the goodness in other people is probably what has contributed so much to your success, and it's just very inspiring. And we can learn a lot from you, and we thank you for sharing your wisdom. And Darden tries to stand for the things that you believe in too, responsible leaders in business, the role of business in helping society be a good place, having an ethical and moral compass and doing the right thing, and being a global institution that trains responsible leaders. Because what I often think of is, why do I get up and go to work in the morning? It's because, our mission is to make responsible leaders. And if we can make more responsible leaders like you, then I feel like our life and my life had meaning. So thank you very much for inspiring us.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks to every one of you. I always enjoyed whatever time I have spent with Scott. There is so much that one can learn from him. He is that intellectual dean. You all know that he came from McKinsey, very successful career. And then he's now taken this school to unbelievable heights. So thanks a lot.
No, thank you all.
Thank
Great
you.
start to the session. Thanks very much. Thank you. You guys have a great conference. Thank you, Narayana. We'll be in touch soon.
Thanks a lot. Take care. Yeah. Shall I close now?
Yes, sir, you can. We will move on to the next panel.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for
Take
joining us.
care. Bye.